Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that I bet feels super familiar, even if you've never actually heard the name for it. It's called the silent collapse. And we're going to get into the 5 things you can literally purge from your life to get your energy and your focus back. So let me ask you this. You ever have one of those days, or heck, maybe a whole week, where you just feel completely wiped out, but you can't figure out why? I mean, you got your sleep, you ate okay, but that spark is just not there. Well, it turns out there's a name for that. It's the silent collapse. And this isn't some big dramatic burnout that happens overnight. No, think of it more like a slow, gradual leak. A constant drip, drip, drip of your energy. All thanks to these little unseen things piling up in your life. This quote just hits it perfectly, doesn't it? It's a slow leak in your life's energy tank. And it points the finger at 2 main suspects: the people we let into our lives, and the clutter. And that's both the physical stuff and the mental junk that we let build up around us. But, and this is a big but, here's the good news. You can totally patch that leak. And that brings us to our game plan, the 5 pillars of purging. This is your straight up, no nonsense action plan for fighting back against that silent collapse. All right, so here it is, the full roadmap for what we're covering. We're going to break down all 5 of these pillars. First, draining relationships. Then, mindless commitments. After that, physical clutter. Then, digital noise. And we'll wrap up with the big one, negative mindsets. Let's jump into that first one. Okay, pillar number 1, purging draining relationships. You know, this one can be the toughest one to face, for sure. But the payoff when you do, oh, it is absolutely massive. We all have these people in our lives, right? These energy vampires. You've got the person who's always complaining, the friend who never asks how you are, that acquaintance who only pops up when they need something. Every one of them is a little hole in your energy tank. So the action step here is non-negotiable. You've got to set firm boundaries. And sometimes you just have to create some distance to protect yourself. On to pillar 2, purging mindless commitments. See, it's not always other people draining us. A lot of the time, the biggest leak comes from our own jam-packed schedule that we ourselves created. Just take a hard look at your calendar. How much of that stuff is on there just because you feel like you should do it, not because it lights you up or moves you forward? You know, that weekly meeting that could have been a 2-sentence email, or just saying yes without even thinking about it? The action here is to do a calendar audit. Question it all and start taking back your time. It's your most valuable resource. And that leads us right into this really important connection, the one between our outer world and our inner world. Let's talk about pillar number 3, purging physical clutter. You know what I'm talking about. That closet overflowing with clothes you haven't touched in years, the desk covered in gadgets you don't even use, those stacks of mail. That's not just stuff. Every single item is like a tiny little to-do list for your brain, a quiet little source of stress. And it all adds up. So the action is simple, but wow, is it powerful. A clear space really does help create a clear mind. Okay, now let's go from the physical world to the digital world, which, let's be honest, is where a lot of us live these days. And it can get just as messy. This is pillar 4, purging digital noise. Seriously, think about it for a second. The doom scrolling, the nonstop stressful alerts pinging on your phone, that inbox with thousands of unread emails. This is the modern version of the silent collapse, right here. But the fix is actually pretty straightforward. Unfollow, unsubscribe, turn off the notifications you don't need. You have to be ruthless about protecting your digital space. And that brings us to our last pillar. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all. This is the internal stuff. We're talking about purging negative mindsets. This is the clutter we carry around inside our own heads. That little voice of imposter syndrome whispering that you're a fraud, or replaying that one mistake from 5 years ago on a loop, or that automatic I can't that pops up before you even give something a shot. The action here requires you to become a detective of your own thoughts. You got to catch them, challenge them, and then consciously, actively replace them with something better. So you do all this work, you purge all this stuff. What happens then? What's the point? Well, it's all about the payoff. It's about reclaiming your life. Because look, this isn't just about getting rid of the bad stuff. It's about making space for the good stuff. What you get is more energy. You get more focus. You get a clearer sense of your own purpose. You get less stress. You finally shift from just reacting to everything to actually living your life on purpose. And it all comes down to this number, 5. That's it. It's not some overwhelming list of 100 things you have to fix. It's a simple, powerful framework of just 5 areas. It's manageable, it's totally doable, and it can completely upgrade your life. So, I'm going to leave you with one final and really important question. Now that you know the 5 pillars, which one just screamed out at you? What's the very first thing that popped into your head? What is the first thing you are going to purge? Because stopping that silent collapse, it all starts with that one single decision.